Content Creators University is a show that airs every single week, but I want to connect with you. I want you to go ahead and download my mobile application. If you have an iPhone, go ahead and download my app called JP High Tech TV right now onto your phone. If you have a TV, a smart TV, my app is also available on your Roku TV, right? Go ahead and download JP High Tech TV on your Roku TV or your Amazon Fire TV right now, and let's connect together, right? I want you to grow with me. I want us to grow together. If you love podcasts, I'm also happy to tell you that the Content Creators University is available syndicated across every podcast platform. Apple Podcasts, Audible, Google Podcasts, you name it, we are there. Spotify and all of that. Go ahead and download it, listen to it, and do me a favor. If you appreciate what we're doing, go ahead and put it in the comment section. Leave me a review on any of those podcast platform or mobile application platform. Let me know if any of the hard work that we're putting into this community, this broadcast, this podcast is helping you. If you appreciate all the amazing guests that we're bringing onto the platform to share their expertise with you. This is a lot of work, family, and I'm doing all this in order for you to be able to grow your business the right way, leveraging content creation. Thanks so much, and if you appreciate what we do, go ahead as well subscribe to the YouTube channel JP High Tech Reviews. Follow me personally if you want to connect with me on all social media, and the handle is at JP High Tech. I love connecting. Like I always say, network is the new currency. So I want to see you online, I want to connect with you, and I want to hear from you. Let's grow together. Be safe, like I always say. See you next time. Shalom. Peace.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Content Creators University. Sorry about that, right? We are live, and those are the things that happen whenever we're live. Welcome. We are here. We are here, family. Today, we're talking about something that's dear to my heart, and we're talking branding, specifically personal branding today. And we have another amazing guest backstage that will be coming, to teach us things. Why am I saying teach? Because this is Content Creators University, and this is a place that we have a community where we gather every single week with experts, right? Every single guest is an expert, and we call them professors, right? So we have Professor Adam in the place, and she's backstage. She will come here and she will talk to us about things regarding our personal branding and how to build a standout brand. That's a big deal, knowing that I'm a global branding expert and this is my favorite subject matter. I love talking about this. And so we'll dive into that today. Do you think that a personal brand is just having nice pictures? Then there's something you will be learning today, because it's not just about that, right? There's so much more about it. And so we'll dive deep into what might be those hurdles, what might be the things that might be causing some of us, right, not to be able to leverage our personal brand or even be able to make a statement with our personal brand, so that we can attract our ideal, customers, our target audience, and so we can convert more of them for the product or service that we have to offer them. So those are some of the things we'll dive in today. So I want to welcome you here. If you don't know me, my name is JP High Tech. Like I said, I'm a global branding expert, and I am the founder of the Content Creators University. And this is a rendezvous that we have every single week, right? Every single Tuesday, we are here when we go live. And so if this is something you appreciate, well, I want to encourage you to go ahead and smash the subscribe button. Follow us on specifically YouTube. So if you're listening to this podcast, I want to encourage you to hop on YouTube and subscribe. The handle is at JP High Tech, JPHIGHTEK. That's the platform. So if you're new, allow me to tell you what we do here. So the first thing that we do, of course, is we will go ahead and talk about the news, right? What's new in this community. And right after that, it takes about 5 minutes. Right after that, we'll bring our guests onto the stage. Just to let you guys know, this show is both sponsored and listener supported. So we do have sponsors on this show that allows us to keep the lights on, right? We got to talk about them, give them a shout out, and also give a shout out to our supporters, our listeners that support us across, multiple platforms, both video and audio. So let's go ahead and run an ad from our sponsor. And right after that, we'll talk about the news, then bring our guests onto the stage. So don't go anywhere. Stay with me. We'll be right back.
This is Todd.
Hi.
This is Todd's mom.
Hi.
In a moment, Todd's mom will read her son's internet browsing history.
What?
Aloud, please.
No.
Supermodels on trampolines.com. Why don't girls like me? How to overcome an overbearing mother.
Okay, cut.
If you wouldn't want mom looking through your web history, why would you let hackers, ad companies, or your internet and cellular provider do the same thing?
Why does my junk burn?
They can track and record everything you do online, but not if you have ExpressVPN.
Why did you buy a $200 ninja outfit?
For fighting.
ExpressVPN apps keep your activity and identity private while you browse, stream, email, or download. Protect all of your devices with just one click.
Are my hands small?
Okay, I'm done. You guys are all terrible people.
ExpressVPN. Take back your privacy today.
Ooh.
All right, family, let's go ahead and talk about it. The very first thing I want to remind you, if you didn't know, the live stream blueprint, right? My book is out, all right? The #1 Amazon bestseller is out. And if you have not grabbed your copy, go ahead and grab your copy today. Just go to the website, thelivestreamblueprint.com. I repeat, thelivestreamblueprint.com is where you want to go. Grab your copy today. It's available on multiple platforms. We're talking hardcover, paperback, audio, even Kindle version, ebook. Go ahead and grab your copy today and grab it. Learn how to start and scale your business leveraging live video. Family, live video transformed my business, right? And it allowed me to really, really take my business to the next level. And I am organically every week in, week out, connecting with amazing leaders. My, inbox is full. My calendar is full, right? And that is just organic. I'm not spending any money on ads on social media or any other platforms, right? Everything is organic. And I was able to build a 6-figure business in just 5 months, leveraging my podcast and live video. And I want to teach you how to do that. And I talk about all those things in the book. Again, go ahead and grab your copy today. The livestreamblueprint.com is where you want to go, of course. I want to go ahead also and let you guys know, for the folks that are like, JP, we want to work with you. We want to invite you to come and speak at our next event. Well, go ahead and visit my website, and that is jphightech.com/speaking. I repeat, jphightech.com/speaking. And if you want me there as a speaker, I'll be more than happy to connect with you and your organization and see if I am a good fit, right? If we're a good fit for each other, and we can go ahead and work together. Again, the website is jphightech.com/speaking. Go there today and let's work together. Of course, we also have our private community. If you didn't know that, right? We have our private community. So go ahead and visit the website, contentcreatorsuniversity.com today. Go ahead and join. It's not a private Facebook group. It's an actual private community that we created of like-minded thinkers, people that are ready to really take action with their brand, right? And leverage content creation and technology to grow their business, right? So if you want to be part of like-minded thinkers, right? Professionals, leaders in their field, experts, go ahead and create a free account today. It's contentcreatorsuniversity.com. Go ahead, sign up today, and let's grow together. We guys already know, right? The day we stop learning, we stop growing. So I'm always looking for ways to learn, ways to improve myself, ways to do what I do better, faster, right? Smoother, right? More efficiently. Those are things that we need to do. Understanding how fast technology has been growing, right? So if you want to stay on top of the curve and you want to stay really sharp, right? Because, you could be the smartest person in the room in 2024, and then 6 months later, you're not so much, right? Or you could know everything about your subject matter and then realize that a year later, it's not as cool or as current anymore. Well, those are the things that we gather ourselves with the smartest people in the industry so we can keep growing. So again, contentcreatorsuniversity.com is the place you want to go. And I want to highly, highly encourage you to go there. And talking about that, family, I want to go ahead and also give a shout out to ExpressVPN. I know you watched the ad, family. Shout out to them, ExpressVPN. They've been sponsoring our show for several seasons now, and we are now in season 5. So thank you, ExpressVPN, for really sponsoring our show and being there with us, and allowing our listeners and followers to really grow and protect the things they do. So family, you want to go ahead and use it today. ExpressVPN is a virtual private network that you can use in order to protect your assets and the things that you dearly have your information, and not expose yourself for anything to leak up on the web. All right, go ahead and use it today. All you have to do is go to the website expressvpn.com/JP High Tech and get yourself 3 months free on a 12-month subscription today. Again, go ahead and visit the website expressvpn.com/JP High Tech, JPHIGHTEK. Let's go. That will be it for the news today. Now, let's go ahead and talk about our guest, right? Who is our guest today, family? Well, let me let you know. She is amazing, right? I said amazing because we became a connection through LinkedIn. Her name is Sandy Adams, right? Sandy is her name. And well, let me let you know a little bit about her. And there's something fun that she's celebrating this week. So I want to ask you guys, right, to get out of your shell and to do something cool you've never done, is allow me to wish her an early happy birthday, right? Because this Thursday, the 29th, will be her birthday. Happy birthday, Sandy. I know we'll be talking a little bit on the stage, but let me let you know who she is and what she does, right? Sandy Adams is a speaker. She's a strategist, a business leader, and podcast host, right? She's also a brand strategist, family. And, she's committed to empowering you to find your greatest success in your career. So we're about to talk more about it. And who better than a branding strategist to be here with us to talk about how to build a standout brand, right? What does that even mean, a standout brand? And how do you even build it, right? Understanding everything we have today. Is posting on multiple social media platforms enough? Is that not enough? Taking nice pictures is not enough. So when you have nice pictures and you have some sort of presence on social media, that doesn't mean that you have a brand. Well, don't ask me. We will ask Sandy in just a minute. So stay with me right after this intro, and we'll be right back. All right, Sandy. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. The honor is all ours. Like I said, you are our professor today, right? You're our expert, and we're looking to learn from you. And like I said, happy birthday. I see in the comment section, we already have folks wishing you a happy birthday. Early happy birthday. I'm so glad that you're finally turning 30, right? That is amazing. Folks, I'm so excited because Sandy is just an amazing human being. And I'm honored to have you on this platform. We have so much to talk about. And the word branding is a term that's used very loosely today in today's society.
It is.
Brand here. I have a brand, but we don't even know what actually that means, right? We'll be asking you that today from your personal expertise so we can break that down. But before we dive there, we want to ask you, please take a minute, introduce yourself to the folks that, are just discovering you. What's not in the short bio that I read? What are you doing fun lately? Let us know.
Okay, so as you said, I'm a speaker, I'm a brand strategist, I'm a career strategist as well, and a podcast host. But I used to be, and I still am, a photographer. So that's kind of how I got my start, was in photography, specifically portrait photography. But the little bitty aspects of me that kind of set me apart from everybody else is I grew up on a farm right here in Tennessee. And my birthday is February 29th, which for you out there that didn't really pay attention, that's actually leap day. So that's why we were making such a big deal about it.
Oh, yeah. I hope they realize now. And that is just so fun. Awesome. And see, I didn't know you were a photographer because I am too. So yes. I understand why we connected so well.
That's right.
Having the ability to make other people shine, right? And
Yes.
being able to tell a story or create a story, right?
Right.
Out of nothing. It's just something that is to be commended. So that's really amazing that you do that. Oh, let's go ahead and ask you some fun questions here. The first one I want to ask you is, if you were a superhero, right? First of all, who's your superhero? Please let us know. And if you were that superhero, who will it be, of course? And why will specifically be that person? How does that relate to you and your story?
Okay, so my superhero, which is not a traditional one, is Indiana Jones. When
Wow.
I was a little girl, I was obsessed with Egypt and with everything having to do with the pharaohs. And then Indiana
Mm-hmm.
Jones came out, and I wanted to be him. And it actually followed me through my life because I started my undergraduate. I wanted to do archaeology in Memphis. I went to the University of Memphis at the time, Memphis State, and they didn't have that program. So I switched to international relations because I still wanted to study the Middle East. And then I went on and got my master's in education, but I started my master's in anthropology.
Hmm.
And I was the odd person. So my whole intention was I wanted to eventually teach in a museum setting, teaching people about ancient civilizations and how those cultures, we can learn from them today. And so that kind of, I switched to education, to secondary education. So I'm actually certified to teach history and government for high school. So that's,
Huh.
yeah.
Interesting. So
But
you
the
love
other,
history.
I do. The other thing is that when because I lived in Houston for 16 years, so I just moved back in 2020.
Okay.
Um, Trying to market myself, I decided to go to groups and events that I had something in common with instead of going to those networking events.
Mm-hmm.
So there was an archaeology group in Houston, and what they do is they teach. So they do lectures and things like that. They don't actually physically dig, but they have
Okay.
archaeologists come in from all over the world. So I went to them and said, "Hey, I'll do your social media for a position on the board." And so so for
Wow.
3 years, I got to interact with world famous archaeologists from all over the world and ambassadors from foreign countries. And
Wow.
so in some way, I was Indiana Jones. I just wasn't doing the actual
Right.
digging. But yeah, that was coming kind of full circle for me.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. That's amazing, and this is the first time anybody mentioned Indiana Jones on our show, and this is season 5. So yeah, that's pretty refreshing to hear. I used to love Indiana Jones when I was a kid. I used to wonder how he would discover the things he would, and that gave that developed in me the desire to really research. And today
Yes,
I do a lot of research as a brand expert, and
right.
all about that. You have to really deep dive dig deep into it in order to develop a complete brand strategy for a client.
Sure.
And you really got to be ready in order to be able to tell a story and help them real communicate their brand, their message, their mood, and all of that to their target audience. So yeah, I mean, really, really impressive stuff. I really commend you there. Love it, love it. All right, so tell me, somewhat of a serious question now, right? If you were to give one major piece of advice, right, to Sandy, to yourself when you were 25 years old. So if you were to meet your 25-year-old self today, one major piece of advice, because I know there's a lot that you may want to, tell yourself, but one major one, which one will that be? And elaborate on why.
Trust your dreams and trust your intuition. And I think when I was 25, I think for me personally, I didn't really know where I wanted to fit in. I didn't really feel like I had value for anybody.
Mm,
And a lot of that had to do with some of the people around me and just the environment. And I just didn't quite know where I fit in. It's kind of like, that awkward teenage years. I kind of had that when I was in my mid 20s. I just wasn't quite sure where I fit in. And at the time, I had finished my undergraduate degree. I was still living in Memphis,
mm-hmm,
and I I did not want to go to the Middle East and die, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and I got jobs with companies. I got a job with one company working in accounts payable just because it was easy to me. And then I took some accounting classes, and I was like, this is not what I want to do. But I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. I had these ideas in my head, but I just didn't have that motivation and that push to do it. And then I started my my master's, like I told you,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom ended up having an emergency triple bypass, and my stepfather
Oh,
passed away
wow.
from lung cancer at the same time.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And the next year, what I decided to do was Memphis offered, because I had to do student teaching, and they offered to do part of your student teaching overseas. And so
Mm.
me and my mom and my sister agreed that I really needed to do something that was out of the ordinary. And I made that decision. I had to pay for it myself. I made that decision. So I did 6 weeks of my student teaching. I did it south of Berlin 2 weeks, and then Birmingham, England for 4 weeks. And I will say that completely, if you want to talk about um, just kind of re-energizing my life and just my purpose, that was
Mm-hmm.
it. And when I came back, I had taken a little bitty a little instant camera with me and like 12
Mm-hmm.
rolls of film. And I came back and I started developing the film. And that's when I started like, hey, I've got a pretty good eye when it comes to photography. And that's kind of what set off my photography career. So
Wow.
yeah, just
Talking
trusting.
about a shift, right?
Yes, yes. Sometimes you just need that, maybe what I call a rebirth. You just need to be
Mm-hmm.
taken out of where you are and forced or push yourself into some other position or place to kind of re-inspire you.
And see, that's the thing, right? Not being afraid to
Yeah.
really embrace
Oh,
that.
let me tell you, I was the thought, like, because where I was going, Berlin at the time had only been a democratic country. Germany had only
Mm.
been democratic country for 10 years. The wall had just come down 10 years earlier. So I'm flying into Berlin, Germany, and in my head, like I'm going behind what used to be, communist,
Wow.
and
Wow.
I was staying with, there were 5 of us women, and we were each staying with a host family. And I got to
Mm-hmm.
tell you, I lucked out. I got the best host family ever. They were just awesome, and I'm still friends with them today. And the same thing in Birmingham, we stayed on a university campus. But going
Mm.
into Berlin, just the thought of you're going behind the Iron Curtain. I mean, it's democratic, now, but
Right, right.
it was for me, it was a little unsettling. But once I got over there, I love my family, and most of them spoke English, and yeah, it was awesome. It was just the best experience ever.
That is just fantastic. So not only you embrace the camera, right?
Right.
You notice a skill, you notice a strong suit, you notice something that you were good at. And not only you embrace that, right? It's more than a hobby now. It's now something you do professionally. You
Yes.
actually, you know, work with other professionals.
Right.
You help them establish and develop a professional brand. So we're going to talk about that today, right? Because in today's society we live in, a lot of folks, a lot of people use that word brand, like I said earlier. They
Sure they do.
want to build a personal brand, and you hear that a lot. But we want to speak and ask from an expert such as yourself, right? For you, what does personal brand actually mean?
It means establishing yourself different from your competition, so that when somebody says your name, they have an identity or a perception already formed in their head.
Woo! Yo, family, this is amazing. Are you hearing what she said? Because what you just said is so profound at so many levels.
But it's so
Because
simple too.
yeah,
It's so
yeah,
simple.
at the same time, right? At the same time, because we're talking about, and that is simply business 101. But at the same time, some folks will tell you, well, there's nothing new under the sky, Cindy. Like pretty much every idea seems to be borrowed. So could you elaborate there?
So what I like to say is that we're all kind of a triangle. And if you think about the parts of your life, you have your education, you have your work
Mm-hmm.
experience, and then you have your life experience. Your life experience is what's going to set you apart from everybody else. Because I taught job search for a nonprofit in Houston for 5 years, and I had mid-level professionals with bachelor's degrees, master's
Mm-hmm.
degrees, a lot of PhDs. I had tons of engineers. And I said, you know, if you come to me and you're a project manager and every one of you have the same degree and you have the same years of experience, how would I decide who to hire?
Mm-hmm.
It's that life experience that you bring into the mix. And that was something I learned in Houston when I started my photography business for real, was that how do I market myself different from all these studios? I didn't have a studio, I didn't have any money, I had a camera and one lens. How
Mm-hmm.
do I make myself different? How do I set myself apart? By doing something different. I really honed in about I'm a Southern girl, because I'm going to tell you, people in Texas, you're not in the South. You're just in Texas.
Yeah, you
And
just. I'm from Texas, by the way.
so I really leaned into I'm from Tennessee. So that
Mm-hmm.
immediately made a conversation different from everybody else. And I decided I don't have access to a studio. I'm not going to shoot like that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to shoot outside and make everything an on location shoot. And I really loved Vogue magazine and Vanity Fair magazine. And so I really loved the magazine style portrait experience. And
Right.
that's what I did. So I just decided I'm not going to be like everybody else. I don't like it. And I'm just going to be different. Now, one other thing
Hmm.
though, if we really want to talk about a personal brand,
Mm-hmm.
and I've talked about this before, and it's funny because people are like, I don't know what you're talking about. So Queen Elizabeth the First, not the
Mm-hmm.
second. If you want to talk about personal branding, she was the epitome of personal branding. Queen Elizabeth the First, she was considered the Virgin Queen, so she had a name associated with her. She powdered her face, she wore specific types of dresses. She had an image, she had a personal brand. If you want to go back to the 1500s, you can see a personal brand without social media.
Right. Right. See, that's where I really want us to hold on, because today there is this belief
Yes.
that in order to build a personal brand, you must be posting every day on social media,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You must just be so present that people will recognize. But at the same time, the definition that you gave, right? Being able to separate yourself from the
Right.
competition and being able to establish some type of definition in people's mind when they hear your name, right?
Mm-hmm.
While you're about being able to tell that and have clarity in that area is actually the essence of building your personal brand.
It
But
is.
you find people posting, and whenever you hear their name, you don't really know
No,
what they're all about, right? And
no.
so some folks will tell you, and I've heard that personally in my career, um, am I posting the wrong stuff? Am I sharing the wrong stuff? Should I just share about my business every day? Or how do you go about building a brand that truly stands out? Is there a secret to this?
Um, there is yes and no. I mean, you have to think about what it is that you stand for. And I hear this a lot. People talk about, you got to come up with your values and make sure your values are communicated.
Hmm.
And I don't think it's so much, I think that term values is confusing for people. You really have to think about the 3 to 4 things that you want to stand for. If we're on LinkedIn, what I tell a lot of my clients is what you should be posting is what your job is about.
Hmm.
What is it you do? If I see your posts in the feed, I should be able to tell what it is you do without having to go to your profile. And most people are afraid to talk about what they do. You have to
Hmm.
educate people on what it is you do. And that's, if you want to talk about what do you post on social media, what is it you do? How do you do it? What is it you do? What are questions people should ask about what you do? Who are the people that need what you do? You have to educate. If anyone wants a specific one word, educate people on what it is you do. Because social media is not what you do. If you're
Right,
an
right.
if you're an engineer, then talk about engineering stuff. Show people what your job is like, where you work. What is an engineer? Give them a visual representation
Mm-hmm.
of that. And then answer questions. People want to know what I didn't even know. What's an upstream engineer? What's a downstream engineer?
Mm-hmm.
They're
Mm-hmm.
different. So if you want to build a personal brand, most people do because they want some type of financial success or some
Right.
type of increase in their career. People have to know what it is you do in order to elevate you up, to see if they want to work with you, to see if they want to refer you, to see if they want to hire you. People have to know what it is you do. And so just educate people.
This, I love the way you put it, right? Because yes, building a personal brand is all about your expertise, right? You got to be able to
Right.
establish yourself as an expert in your field, right? So that
Right.
people can easily identify what you
Yes.
do and trust you, because you got to build the trust factor as well, right? And the only way you can build trust is by proving that you know the subject matter and you're an expert in it, by showing people, the ins and out of what you do and how you do it, right? And how the before and after, I put it, right? Just like that.
Right.
And the story behind your why. Being able to share that is what this is all about. But at the same time, and I'm sharing this aspect because I hear this a lot, and it kind of limits some folks from doing it. They'll tell you, well, there's a fine line between sharing and oversharing, right?
Yes.
And there's
I
a
hear
fine
that.
line
I do
between,
hear
yeah,
that.
yeah, right? They'll
Mhm.
be like, well, when does it become too much? Shoot, I'm a human being first, right? And this is something I hear. And since we have you here, I want to have you chime into that. They'll tell you I'm a human being. So if all I do is share about my work, do not become borderline boring. How can I be authentic, right? And still keep my voice in this droplet? What would you say?
So they really have to think about, what it is that they want to keep private. And for me, I don't really talk a lot about my personal life. Like, people are not going to know if I'm really married or if I'm single. And I
Mm-hmm.
have talked about, as part of, because I went through some big life changes. My mom passed away in 2016 and I went through a really bad divorce. And so I do talk about that in terms of motivating people and encouraging people that, there is a way to start over. But I think that sit and think about, what it is that focus on what you want to talk about, not what you don't want to talk about. I talk
Mm-hmm.
about I talk about my brand strategy. I'm a huge Memphis basketball fan. I talk about
Mm-hmm.
that. I talk about my school. I love the University of Memphis, and I talk about the city. When my dogs were alive, they were part of my brand, and they're not alive anymore, so I don't have animals in there. But that is what I talk about. I don't really come on and say, I may talk about where I've gone to eat, and I'll put those in like Instagram stories, but I really don't share any of that because I'm focused on what I do as a profession. I'm focused on educating people about what I do to promote my work
Mm-hmm.
and then the things that are associated with that.
So let's recap real quick, because what you're saying is so amazing, and a lot of gems here. So of course we want to lean on our personal story, right?
Yes.
We all have a unique story. We all have a unique background, right? And that essentially separates you from your competition because you're unique. We're all unique,
That's right.
uniquely created. So lean on that, right? And then understand that our posts, if we're leveraging social media, understanding that you can still build a personal brand without social media, right? But
Mhm.
if you're leaning on that, well, if you're posting, every post should have a purpose, right? And
Yes.
and ultimately, the purpose should be all about really, who are you? What do you do? And how do you do it? Right? How
Right.
are you educating people in knowing that? Right? Are you really intentional about the things that you're posting? And finally, also understanding that, okay, as I'm doing that, right, I am choosing some parts of my life that I can keep private. Right?
Mhm.
It's not everything about our private life that we should be sharing on social media. Right?
That's
Really,
right.
we should think about that. We should have some type of privacy, and also understanding that the things that you're sharing, right? Um, may or may not attract your target audience depending on how you're sharing it. And that's where I want us to go, right? How we're sharing it, because there's so many ways you can share, right? You can make a short video. Today you have a reel, right? You can create reels, right? Today, or stories, still or video. You can pay somebody like you, right? And have professional images made. And now you want to create a banner, right? On your page and have that banner speak to folks. I mean, come on, there's so many ways that you can choose the vehicle in order to share. In your personal expertise, what has worked the best for you and your clients? Whenever, let's say, you have a new client today, right? How do you approach it? And how do you make that selection on what's the best way to tell those story and selecting the proper vehicle to make people, connect with them?
So the first thing that I do is I look at what their business is. And I'll give you an example. I have a new client. They're about 3 or 4 months old now. It's an AAU baseball team up in Connecticut. And they hired me to do their social media. I looked at what their foundation was. I looked at their colors. I looked at how many teams they had. And I also know a little bit about baseball. And so I wanted to create a look that wasn't just posting people hitting baseballs. I brought in the theme that they wanted. They really wanted to market the culture. They wanted to market how they're raising and teaching these boys, not just about the sport, but about being good young men, about being, good on the field versus off the field. So that comes into play with showing that culture, whether it's using quotes that represent what they represent, or it's showing pictures of the team interacting together. And the same thing for real estate agents. A lot of real estate agents keep wanting to post about, oh, I've got this house for sale. I sold this house. I've got this house for sale. What about the community that you sell in? What about, the best places to eat, or the places to take your pets, or where to get haircuts? I have another client. She just moved to Boca Raton, and she said, nobody here has any knowledge about what is a great hairstylist. Women struggle with that when they move.
Right.
And what a great thing for a realtor to talk about that, and talk about where's to grocery shop, or where are the best places for this type of food, or what type of food is in the area. I think that when you have a new client, you have to look at who they're attracting. And you mentioned about whether we push people away or attract people. You should not be as concerned about who you push away. You should be as concerned the most about who you're attracting. And I learned that early on. I made the mistake of wanting to photograph everything and everybody.
Right.
Okay. And then I quickly realized I was having to do so much marketing in all these different things, and it was just wearing me out. Think about who it is you're wanting to attract. And even though I still have my portrait photography website up, sandyadamsphotography.com, I still have that up. I'm not going to take it down. If somebody calls me up and says, hey, I want to have a photo shoot with you, I'm not going to say no. It's going to be, a big deal. It's not going to be like $100. But I've also learned that even though I put out that I photograph women and I photograph, that's downtown Memphis looking out on the river. That was actually done for the American Heart Association, who I'm a longtime volunteer for. But even though I put out that, I still have people contact me and say, hey, do you shoot weddings? So just because you are being specific about what it is you do and thinking about who your ideal client is, it doesn't mean people aren't going to resonate with you. It doesn't mean that they're not going to ask you. You're just, don't be worried about the people you push away. Be more concerned about the people you're attracting.
Whoo, that's a mic drop moment, family. Mic drop moment right there. Come on, that's amazing, right? I mean, worry about who you're attracting. Shout out to the folks that are joining us on Instagram. What's good? Official Cindy, I see you there as well. I see Jen Lowe. What's good, Jen Lowe? Hey, I'm not going to butcher your name, but I'm going to try. Blue Hyvy Creative, right? Or Blue Hive Creative. Shout out to you. Consecrate. I know that's what you're trying to say. Consecrate, but it's just a unique way of saying it. Shout out to you. Thanks for joining us here. Jen Low 13. Yeah. Hey. Thanks. If you have any questions for our guests, let us know. We're honored that you guys are here. And finally, Don Strong 05. Yes, we're alive. It's not a recording. We are alive, right? I appreciate you guys that you like what you see. And that's what we do here. All right, Cindy. I love that, right? Focus on who you're attracting, right?
That's right.
And that goes back to the same thing. Don't worry about what you cannot control.
That's right.
Right? Worry about what you can control, what you can address, and how that can empower not just you, but your audience, right? And that is very crucial when you're building a brand, because one thing that we've learned, my audience have learned, is that branding is a relationship.
It is.
It's a relationship between your brand and your audience. And so let's break it down, right? If you're in a new relationship and you really want somebody to date you and all of that, how do you present yourself? They want to know everything about you. They want to see if you are the right person for them, right? If you guys match. And so there is some things that we do in a new relationship to make sure that we position ourselves to be with the right person. A lot of people will tell you the one, right?
Right.
And so that is what branding is all about. Positioning ourselves to meet the one, right? And you will have several the ones, right, in your life. And those are the people that will follow you everywhere, and that will you leverage to build your community. But at the same time, I want us to talk about challenges, right? Is this so easy as it seems, Sandy? Is it that easy to communicate a message? Because, I mean, in my experience, right, what am I talking about? Well, in my experience, I've worked with clients that will tell you, based on the their target audience and the messaging that they don't want to put out. Let's say, for example, color red being the primary color doesn't work. It sends the wrong message. But the client will tell you, but that's what I like.
Yes, that's true.
Question. How present should our desire, or how present should we be in our brand, right, establishment, or we should just focus on who we want to attract and build something according to the people, and we should remove ourselves from it? Even though you said we're leaning on our background story. So how does that work there?
So, you know, it's not, it is about what the client wants, but it's also really important that you have yourself involved in that. So if you like red, then put red in your thing, in your brand. You would not attract me because I don't like red.
Right.
But I've been a volunteer for the Heart Association for 24 years, and their primary color is red. So that's a perfect example. Just because I may not like the color doesn't keep me from identifying with the mission of the brand. And so if it's part of you, then use it. And, you know, tie it in there. Make it a red string. No pun intended there. Make it a red string that goes through everything. You know, I grew up in a small town. I grew up on a farm, and I incorporate that into my brand. I talk about being a Southern girl. I talk about, you know, growing up on a farm, and I don't talk about it a whole lot, but I also use it as part of see where I came from and where I am now. So it becomes part of that brand story. And just like last week, I posted a picture, which my sister laughed at me about, but I posted a picture of me. I think it was like 1 year old, and my dad, who was in these dirty overalls, and we had a pig farm. We had a pig pen barn, and he was standing me on a pig, and my mom had taken a picture of that, and I posted it, and the whole thing was about we all have to start somewhere. So
Mm-hmm.
I use part of my story to market what it is that I do, but also to motivate people that we all start somewhere. I wasn't just born like this. Like, I didn't come out speaking like this. And so
Right,
we all
right.
have to start somewhere. So it is important that your brand, when we talk about being authentic, that it is authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, am I going to talk about things that I think are going to upset a whole lot of people? Probably not. But I think what I do is pretty safe. I don't think there's anything really controversial about it. But, if it goes back to that thing, it's got to be part of you in order to be authentic. And if you want to use the color, my baseball client, part of their color is red. So I just look at how to use that to make it attractive. I don't make like their website that I'm designing, I'm not making everything red. It's a
Mm-hmm.
white website and I use the red as an accent color. So if we're talking about just being, totally specific about colors, that's how I kind of incorporate it in.
That's the thing, right?
Mhm.
Find ways to make sure
Right.
you're present. It is your personal brand,
That's right. That's right.
right? Now, based on the message you want to send out, that color may not be the predominant color, but that
That's
doesn't mean
right.
that should be absent, right?
That's right.
It can still be present in there professionally. Work with an expert. See, that's why it's important to work with an
That's
experts
right. That's right.
such as myself or Cindy, right? Like consult with an expert because that's why you need the help, so they can kind of work with you there on things that we need to understand and put there. Now, Cindy, let me talk about something here, right? Inc. said, this said in regards to building a personal brand, and I'm gonna read here. This said, most people fail, right? Because they expect overnight success.
Sure.
Okay, let's talk about that. It said there's an art and science to optimizing performance as you market your brand on social media platform and through thought leadership articles and public speaking. Many entrepreneurs give LinkedIn, for example, a shot or go on the podcast interview circuit only to quit after 6 months, right? Personal branding is a marathon, not a sprint. You can only expect results after following best practices, learning, and giving it sufficient time when you have achieved visibility. Now, let me stop right there.
Okay.
I'm gonna have you chime in on this. What do you
Oh,
think
this
about that?
So I agree. It is not an overnight success. And the people that are going to not be successful, because I hate to say fail, but the people who are
Mm-hmm.
not going to be successful are those that do give up. I've worked with so many people who will, when they finally get up the nerve to post on LinkedIn, they'll spend all week to come up with a post. They'll post it, and then an hour later, they're checking. They're like, literally, this guy said, "Well, nobody's liked my post. I'm never going to
Oh
do this again."
wow. Oh
And I
wow.
was
Oh
like,
wow.
You can't do that." I started in 2010 with a blog because I did not have any money for marketing. And I just wrote blogs and posted blogs about my photo shoot.
Mm-hmm.
If you Did I get a lot of attraction then? No. But I still had people occasionally that found me. And the best thing that I can say is don't focus on the likes. That's the worst thing. Don't focus on the likes. Don't even focus on if no one comments. Take care of the people that do comment and
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
just keep posting. There are weeks that no one comments on my post, but then every once in a while, I'll get a message from somebody that I've worked with before, and they say, "Thank you so much for what you posted today. It really helped me. I really needed to hear that. I don't ever comment on your post, but I always read them." So you can't assume. But the thing is, and I was talking with somebody earlier this week, society today, especially younger people, they want
Mm-hmm.
that instant gratification.
Right.
And,
Right.
and, and that's just not going to come. You have to really put your blinders on and just focus on creating and speaking and putting everything out there. You just have to focus on that and not look for the reaction. Focus on your actions.
Isn't that right? Isn't and I'm glad that we
Right.
shifted the conversation there. Um, because we live in a different generation,
We
right?
do.
And we have so much available to us, right? Like technology is at an all-time rise and things are so much easier to do in a certain way. But at the same time, the same capabilities that we have seem to be limiting us in some other ways, right? In
Yes.
being patient to really sow something, water it, and wait for that to grow, right?
Mhm.
And understanding that certain things take time.
They
You
do.
gotta be patient.
And it's also like that old saying, because I'm from the South, a watched pot never boils. I think that's the saying. You can't keep watching it because
Mm-hmm.
it's going to feel like it's forever. And the thing is, you're not really going to know that your brand has taken off until like one day you're going to realize it. And I didn't know that I had really created a brand until I was actually living in Houston. And I started doing volunteer work at the Heart Association because of my mom. And one day this lady came up to me and she's like, "Oh my God, you're the photographer." And I said,
Right.
I'm a photographer, yes. And she goes, "No, you're the photographer." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "You're the photographer that works for the Heart Association." And I was like, "Yeah, I am." She didn't know my name, but she knew who I was.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time I was like, wow, it's starting to get out there. My work is starting to get noticed. And sometimes you don't necessarily need to know they don't need to know your name. They just need to know who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wow, this is amazing, right? Let's go ahead and take a quick ad break.
Okay.
Looked up and realized we're almost at the end of our conversation, but when we
I know
come
it's been
back,
so fun. It's been
I
so
know,
fun.
right? I can keep going because there's so much about this conversation, so many nuances that we need to understand so we're successful at building it. When we come back, I really, first thing I want you to share with us, some effective strategies, right? Some
Okay.
giveaways, strategies for, monetizing our brand, right? Our personal brand. For the folks that are like, I built it, I have a little bit, but I just want to find ways to make some money off of that. If you have some advice for those folks, I want to talk about that. And of course, how can people work with you, right? What do you have to offer them? How to get to
Okay.
connect with you? And what do you have upcoming? What's next for Sandy, right?
Okay.
For the remainder of the year. Let's talk about that right after this ad. Stay with me and we'll be right back.
Miss Luck, I'm so happy. I look so good, y'all. I'm crispy. All right, I'm crispy. I'm done. Listen, y'all. Oh my goodness. Life is a little dull sometimes, right? You can see my colors right now. My colors is a little dull. And sometimes you gotta bring a little bit more life to what you do. Look at me. My boy JP set me up with an amazing look. The process was incredible. Before he even sent it my way, he told me how my lighting should be. We got on a Zoom call. We went through all of the settings on the camera, made sure I'm white balanced properly, made sure my lighting was right. Even the foreground and background lighting, he made sure everything was crispy. He let me know what popped with my skin. He made me feel real good. Okay, he made me feel real good. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. He made me feel real good. And man, you guys can see going from zero, all right, to hero. Okay, like let me just dial it in just enough. He even gave me the number to dial it in on. Now, some of you may be asking, what in the heck is a LUT? Now, a LUT is all about getting that custom dial-in color grading that you need just for your custom look. It was important to me as I'm growing my YouTube channel, as I'm growing as a broadcaster, as I'm growing as a content creator. I wanted to make sure that all of my coloring was right and tuned in each and every single time I turn on the camera. Every single time I look into the camera and I'm doing a video, I want to make sure I look good. And if you are a content creator, you're going to want to have your own custom look. You don't want to just download one from the internet and you just put it in there and it looks kind of cool. You want to make sure you have something that's custom from you that no one else has. And my boy JP is the one who can make it happen for you. I'm so happy with my product. It's just incredible. Get it today. I'm overjoyed. It's just an amazing quality product, and I appreciate JP so much, man. You just don't know how amazing you are and how great this product is and this luck. I'm so happy. I look so good, y'all. I'm crispy. All right, I'm crispy. I'm done. Just get with JP now. Just get with him now. That's it.
All right, family, welcome back here. And I am honored that you guys are here. Now, if you are looking for that solution, all you have to do is go to the website, jphightech.com/custom LUT. All right, jphightech.com/custom LUT is where you want to go and go ahead and get yourself, your custom LUT today, right? Just go to this website and purchase your custom LUT, right? Because a lookup table is what I use, right? And I have my custom one created because a lot of folks, I get that a lot. They look at my videos and my production. They're like, hey, how are you getting this level of quality? Well, one of my secret weapons, if you want to call it, is using a custom LUT, right? You can have the best cameras, in the world. Any movie that you watch in cinema uses a LUT, right? And professionals create custom LUT because it uses your skin tone, your colors, your lighting. Is it indoor? Is it outdoor, right? All of that matters to build the best rendition of your colors, of your images. And if you are right now listening to this, I want to encourage you to hop on YouTube and watch because I'm about to show you something that I usually do because seeing is believing. So I'm go ahead and remove my LUT right now. You'll see what my camera looks like. And this is my camera, right? It is a professional camera, but you notice something, I'm kind of pale, right? I'm kind of pale. It's not the real true colors. And so a LUT just gives you that. And you have a specific number depending on your setup and everything. And mine is 90, right? So I know that by heart and I put it right back there and I'm back, right? So if you're like, how does it look like that? Well, that's one of my secret weapons. Again, jphightech.com/custom LUT. LUT is LUT, L as in Larry, U as in unicorn, T as in Tom for the folks that are listening to the podcast. All right, let's go ahead and bring our guest back onto the stage. And we've been talking about, how to build a standout personal brand. And Sandy, I want to thank you because you've been a wealth of knowledge, wisdom, gems, everything, and strategies. I mean, you're just giving us everything tonight. And that's just amazing. We're grateful for that. And I can't believe we're at the end of our conversation, but we can't just let you go like that, right? We can't.
That's
we can't
right.
do it.
That's right. That's right.
And so, like I was telling Sandy backstage, we're going to have a part 2 to this conversation because we got to finish it. And so if you're looking forward to that, family, let us know. Let me know. Send me an email, DM, and all that. I want to know if you want a part 2 to this, right? And then we'll make it happen, definitely. But hey, Sandy, one thing I want to ask you is some tangible giveaways for the folks that are like, hey, I've done the homework. I've been able to build something, but my struggle lies where you make tangible money from it and you make money from your brand. What will be some strategies for monetization, some tangible, strategies or, secrets you can share with our audience today?
So one of the first things is you have to look at what kind of career that you have. Because somebody that's an engineer that's built a personal brand, they're going to monetize their brand differently than, say, a photographer. So if we talk about the creative aspect, if for a photographer, how do you monetize that brand other than doing photo shoots is you start teaching other photographers or you create digital products, forms or a digital course. Now, if you're something like an engineer, you could do consulting, you could do workshops. Most people think that creating a podcast, which would kind of be the next step up, would be a way to monetize. But monetizing a podcast is really hard. And a lot of times people have trouble with the consistency of that. So I would look at some type of digital product, some type of consulting, or even speaking opportunities. Those are 3 items that are really easy to get off the ground. And for most people, it's a little uncomfortable, but it's not too uncomfortable that they can't get that next step up.
Fantastic, family. Takeaways. All right. please go ahead and monetize your brand. You have an expertise, your intellectual property. You can make money off of that. So do not hesitate. Put it out there and make it known, right? That's the thing also.
Yes.
One thing is to have it. Another thing is to really share that you have something like that so people can want to go purchase it from you. So that's one thing that just to add to what Sandy said, that I notice a lot. Some folks will have it, but they will not really
That's right.
talk about it.
They think it's bragging.
Right. And so I'm like,
especially women think that.
Why is that though? I know we're about to let you go, but why?
Most women, it's also how society has raised us. You know, a woman starts talking about what she does and it's seen a negative way. A man does and it's seen as, oh, he's just, marketing himself. Women have that low self-confidence. It doesn't matter how powerful their job is. They still have that low self-confidence. And so that's been a big part of my consulting and my brand building, has been empowering women to step up and take ownership of what they do and realize that they can do it. I'm kind of like that little doll sitting on their shoulder. If you're not from Memphis, you're not going to know about the little penny Nike ads. But
Yep. So true. Well, Sandy, how can people connect with you? Do you have any special offer for the folks that want to, hire you, right? Book you and need your help? Let us know. Share everything with us right now, please.
Okay, so everything about me is at sandy-adams.com. That is my main website. If you are interested in me speaking, you can find that there. I also offer coaching in different avenues. So especially in career building and brand strategy, but specifically in career building. I also have a workbook planner that I have called the Success Blueprint. You can find that on my website. I'm also big in about gratitude. And so I have several gratitude journals as well for sale on there. So a little bit for everyone that's interested in building a brand and also building that brand to further their career.
Nice stuff, Sandy. Thank you so much. Again, I'm going to go ahead and reiterate this. She said sandy-adams.com. Go to that website right now. You will find everything you need about her, how to work with her, how to book her, how to, invite her as a speaker. I mean, everything is right there, right? If you're watching, I'm showing a little bit of it right now. So please go there right now, sandy-adams.com. She is phenomenal. Invite her to come and speak at your event. She's a keynote speaker, professional speaker. She knows her stuff, as you know. You heard her speak today. And of course, she's available on social media. Primarily, you can, of course, go to LinkedIn. Sandy Adams is the same name right there. You can go to Instagram. Same name, official Sandy Adams right there. And hey, if you want to see her create, Sandy Adams, the handle is official Sandy Adams as well on YouTube. Go ahead and invite her over. Thank you so much, Sandy. You are a wealth of knowledge, and we want to thank you again for agreeing to spend this 1 hour with us here on the Content Creators University. Hopefully we have you back again. Please don't go anywhere. Wait backstage as I go ahead and close, and we'll be right back.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Family. As you see, this is amazing. I mean, as a global branding expert, I can tell you right now, Sandy dropped some major jams on everyone today. And I hope you've gotten your takeaways. I hope you've gotten your questions answered. And I hope all is well with you and your family. Go ahead. Don't just listen. Don't just watch. Implement the things that she's talking about, and you will definitely see a transformation in your business and in your personal brand. If you appreciate the things that we talk about, give us a thumbs up. And I want to encourage you to come back. We do this every single Tuesday, family. We go live every single Tuesday between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is, 7 to 8 Eastern. Let's connect, and I want to see you next week for another amazing conversation like we do. Be safe, like I always say. Shalom, family. Peace.